All right, so I'm back talking about the argument essay, which is going to be the big project that we're working on for the rest of the semester. So like I said in the previous lecture, the length or the argument essay is going to be the same topic that you and your partner chose for your proposal this week. So you're going to essentially, now that you've after having proposed the topic, you're going to start writing about that topic, and you're going to end up with a pair of papers. So the idea is you'll have two papers, 3 pages each. That's also 750 words each, which is the same amount of words that our other essays have been. You're going to have a works cited, and you're going to be doing this with a partner. Now, I'm also open to the idea that you would write one paper and it would just be twice as long. So if it was one paper, it would be 1,500 words for the one paper. Or, like I say here, you could write 2 papers, 750 words for each paper. The idea is it'll be a pair of papers, sort of like dueling papers, giving both sides of the argument. The argument is going to be based on whatever thesis you come up with for your proposal, and you're going to give me a bunch of reasons for it and a bunch of reasons against it. You can also think of these as pros and cons, right? Well, what are the pros of the thesis? What are the cons of the thesis? What's the argument for the thesis? What's the argument against the thesis? So with your partner on a topic previously chosen, write 2 papers in which you analyze a controversial or complex issue, take a position in the affirmative or negative, pro or con, and argue for it as the most reasonable perspective. You can break up this work such that you write your own work, but also contribute substantively to your partner's work. So basically, you will, if you wanted to write one of these essays and your partner and let your partner write the other, that's fine, but just make sure that you guys are actually communicating to each other about it, because I want to see interaction between the papers. If you write one part of the paper, you should write part of another, or you could both edit both papers. If you write one paper, your partner could write the other, but make sure to edit each other's as well. So I do want you both to have some influence on both papers, though if you wanted to draft one of them yourself, right, that's fine. However you want to break down the drafting. All group members should have a part and should share equally in the work. Citation. So another thing about this is that this paper is going to need to back up its arguments with citations. So I want you essentially to find evidence for all of your claims. So you could think of this as you're going to find, let's say, 3 pros and cons for each side. So 3 pros, 3 cons, right? And then you could find a piece of evidence supporting each of those pros and each of those cons, and then you're going to put that piece of evidence as an in-text citation, and then you're going to do a citation from an external source. So you must make use of minimum 5 cited sources for each article, preferably those selected from your annotated bibliography. I'll talk about the annotated bibliography in the next lecture, though any credible sources are eligible. So the purpose of the research is to back up your position with examples and evidence from external sources. Each source should provide evidence in support of a claim in the argument. Develop and use synthesis, summaries, paraphrasing, and quotations as evidence for your position of the issue. Note all source material, facts, summaries, paraphrases, ideas, especially but not just quoted material, needs to be cited. Provide a proper work cited and in-text citations. So this one we're going to be turning into Brightspace, and this one's not due until the very end of the semester. With it is going to be due a PowerPoint that we're going to present in class. So the PowerPoint is going to be about 6 minutes long, about 6 short slides. You can use other programs than PowerPoint, though I recommend keeping it simple. This should be based on the final argument essay. So you're going to present a PowerPoint that shows the pros and cons that you developed in your argument essay. It should present all the main points from that essay, though in brief. We're going to try to follow the 7x7 rule. We'll talk about that rule later in class. Be clear and concise. Use visuals when relevant, appropriate, and supplementary. Okay, and that we're going to turn into Brightspace and present in class on presentation day, which will probably be the last day of the semester, is what it looks like. All right, so that's all for the argument essay. So I'm also going to post a lecture about the annotated bibliography. I'll do that one next.